This lesson's on the introduction of probability. There are three different types of probability: experimental, theoretical, and subjective. Experimental probability is you conduct an experiment and you're going to kind of keep track of outcomes in an experiment. Okay, theoretical probability, okay, you're going to use mathematical reasoning, and that's what we're going to spend most of our focus on. And the third type is subjective, and that's based on experience and intuition. So when it comes to subjective, based on intuition, it'd be like, for example, what's the probability of the sun coming up tomorrow? Hopefully it's 100%. What's the probability of it raining this month? It'd be based on where you live. What's the probability of getting an A in math? It might be based on your previous experiences with math classes. So it's based on your experience and based on intuition, no real math involved. We're going to spend most of our focus on theoretical, which involves mathematical reasoning, but experimental is also one as well, where you're kind of keeping track of your outcomes of your experiment, and then you can figure out the probability of each outcome. Probabilities are expressed as either a fraction, a decimal, or a percent. Okay, and so for example, if you're flipping a coin, the probability of getting heads will equal to 1/2, or you can do it as a decimal being 0.5, or you can express it as a percent being 50%. That's all fine, as long as the probability is between 0 and 1. If you have a probability of 0, it means it's never going to happen. You have a probability of 1, guaranteed it's going to happen. 100% of the time it's going to happen. It has to be, your answers have to be between 0 and 1. But as a fraction, a decimal, percent, all are okay. So for theoretical probability, the probability of event, whatever that event might be, is the number of successes divided by the total outcomes. Those outcomes are known as come from your sample space. You have to figure out what are all the possible scenarios in which this can happen, that can happen, period, and then what's the total number of successes that can happen, and you divide that, and that gives you your probability of whatever that event might be. So again, if you're going to, let's say, roll a dice, or going to roll one die, okay, singular, one die, what's the probability of getting a 5? Well, you roll a normal 6-sided dice, there are 6 outcomes, only one of which is a 5. So it's the number of successes divided by the total outcomes. If I want to pick a ball is picked from a hat that contains 3 blue balls, 2 green, and 5 yellow balls. What's the probability of getting a blue ball? So the probability of getting a blue. P for probability, B is going to represent blue, the probability of getting a blue. Now there are 3 blue balls out of, and if I count out the total number of balls there's 10. So probability of getting a blue is 3 out of 10. The probability of getting a green or a yellow, now or is denoted by kind of the U, upside down U. So probability of getting a green or a yellow, okay, so there were 2 greens and 5 yellows, which makes 7 possible successes out of the 10 total balls. Green or yellow, okay, the U means or. Actually in this, and an N, kind of that represents for and. Sum of all probabilities have to add up to 100%. Something's going to happen. You have it, you don't have it, one of the different scenarios, it's all going to add up to 100%. If I flip a coin, probability of getting heads, 1/2. Probability of getting tails, 1/2. Probability of getting heads or tails, no, those are the only 2 scenarios that can happen. It's 100%. It's equal to 1. Okay? One of those 2 is going to happen when you flip a coin. You're going to get heads or you're going to get tails. Complementary events are you have something happening, you have it not happening. So if I have event A, whatever A is, who knows, A with a little prime symbol here represents A not happening. And the probability of event A plus probability of event A not equals 1. Either it happens or it doesn't happen. And when you add those 2 up, it's going to add up to 100%. So again, you roll a die, probability of me getting a 6 on normal sided dice, you have 1 6 out of all 6 outcomes. The probability of me not getting a 6, Well, there are 5 numbers on the dice that are not a 6. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 out of the 6 total outcomes. Now, if I add those up, either you got a 6 or you didn't get a 6. It's going to add up to 100%. Again, the 6 prime represents 6 not, it not happening. The sample space, you have to calculate the sample space, which are all possible outcomes. Things that can help you do that are you can list the outcomes. So again, you're taking a dice. You're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Those are all the possible outcomes. A tree diagram can help. Let's say I'm flipping a coin and I'm rolling a dice, rolling a die. So I flip my coin, heads, tails, and then off of that, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It gives me all possible scenarios, in which case there'll be 12 outcomes. Venn diagrams can help, especially if you have an overlap where both things are occurring at the same time. Or a two-dimensional grid can also help visualize. Again, flipping a coin and rolling a die at the same time. Heads, tails, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you put dots to represent the different scenarios. So there's going to be 12 dots on here to represent the 12 different outcomes. This dot right here represents getting a head and rolling a 4. This outcome here will be flipping a tail and rolling a 6. So I have the different dots represent all the possible scenarios. These are all different ways to get your possible sample space. So this is a brief introduction to probability. Again, theoretical probability is a number of successes divided by the total possible outcomes. And there are 3 different types of probability: experimental, theoretical, subjective. Experimental based on keeping track of some sort of experiment, and subjective is based off of your own intuition and experience. Thank you very much.